le so ni ka na di los ko do I na o kan de sa lago de di ni ko do ke ko ho katligi I ni datos sos Navajo-Hopi Land Commission wel yego I ko ego I asahnika ko ke ho katligi ko bi das so gi be ni ka di lo so ta ke so sa da te da so be ni ka di lo so ya te I navigiert die Kito banda die so even na chika ik het nebe be na die lo so ik het nebe panas na hui ta so le so ye da te lo le so ishila na dan na I ba na ni ne so le ko ke ya an chi ya so fini ka ko even na chi ko ni ni chi ka di in li ni ko she da ku che ko ta so ya po ohni tlido open ango anti na ihonel ango in khain so be na inchit na ya ko ya eko khanti so ya eko actually ki do ya ho ya do na se ke na ba ni te ko shehsting fa ado so di benefit do na se son kha habe schon long do le Rachin dan lini away do hahol adon li has twido sani dan lini sangi nas kaidat from khan yoni nigoban chiki so le to ba huilia do le that is don da hon tagon hitna has ado do as non hitna has anti kone nasning nengin hinig holoni even nature ko ye go ya ni kid corner he con long dollar that's what he's in about with the dollar on the because of deals and the actually the center of the car so yet echo you get now start on this that's what deep in that area the kitchen need the bened nicht dollar the corner chinto the because part ado this is sound ado da snagot ado da khadan hit nengi snila khada kis ha nengi ta so ti de tanil ni tole ado hinago ata koni tole side nasni ni yego iya betrage ni te dole kon di yin ni kon ni tange queen some dole ado da so nasni ado ado fisni to ado da so kodi hakasbi ko nasni action and the Princeton dollars in five. I don't know to be the key of a car alone in the Habali. I don't the key has Argo, Tona has Argo, so Nahabi getting eat on Habali. Nas Kindon, Chila, the Yego, but the Neatla. Ken still the corner, the Nature, the Kaya, the so the Kaya. Not at all. That's all. Yeah, if you can't start on this, the should be over this usual. Even I can't stop. I don't have that so that you don't have the Habaholi. I don't large and that Bahaki, the Indian, the Nikaran, I don't allow that and that so large and that Bahaki, Habiegon, Habaholi, and Habah. هذا اللي يدل على شيء يego iya بتلاقي أهدي إيدو فقال ذاتي دو بنان ذاتي يego يعني شيء بقى لو سو هذا اللي يدل على ناس ده نجمع iya نخل نادا نشتغل خلاصي هذا أصلا أحبس ديلزم كأي تخاطر لأني دي أنا كإدارة دي وخبر خنلا هذا الشيء اللي يثبت نتي نهاخ خاجي دادا خدي كورونا سيأتيه كأي تخاطر مثل أنيك أي ناس جنود هواي أهدول هذا صراحة زند أكثر خبر بس ديلزم بيش ماس أن لنجي هذا بيش ماس أن يعلن ستة سبيكر دين also executive branch, the president, NASDO, vice president, Liza, da ishida so ado hashke because anja for judicial branch because ani so basati die jongo handal so adon jongo hiknei so adon le sag hata the go to da county for ado state or court host she other because angi do she be to ado your torch has angi that ja kikdeel story to kinkpas and as a hat hashit ego ia bahan to to yat ego ta han ti sa yat ego na da to le ado to snan ti na tingo yo kas ko hot ego ia anajin has ta do le lisa ko na ta ko kon lo do le ado ke sa gi President Biden or Vice President Harris adult Bantan installed that some cover from the take on the Tico Kea never Kea for card out of United States of America Kea and he says are they adult so Totet Nagoda he had echo Naz Abbas Naz Argo Yat echo Tiki so Yat echo here a connect to the job, but it's just neat eat all this. So there's yellow because on all this sound as on the got ego, but so deals in coherence in crap and get an age. Couldn't survey at the bin be Kodor, so there's an need yet of it. Yeah, your age, Jesus Christ, Bishop and the also deals. Amen.
Wonderful, Shay, for providing us the invocation this morning. With that, and I see that Honorable Key Allen Begay, Honorable Elmer Begay, Honorable Vince James, and Honorable Jimmy Elliott has joined the call, members of the commission. So with that, we have quorum, and we're going to go ahead and move forth. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7:18 a.m. And with that, I am gonna go ahead and turn the floor over to roll call. Sherelle, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, can you provide roll call? Thank you.
Okay. Roll call for the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. Honorable Elmer Begay. Honorable Key Allen Begay.
Good morning. Delegate Key Allen is present.
Good morning. Honorable Key Allen Begay is present. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay is present.
Honorable Paul Begay is present. Honorable Elmer Begay is present. Honorable Herman M. Daniels. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James present. Thank you.
Honorable Vince James is present. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Good morning, President.
Good morning. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. is present. Honorable Otto So.
Honorable So is present.
Honorable Otto So is present. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Good morning. Peninsulat Ani. Delegate Yellowhair is also on the line. Thank you very much. I appreciate it for your prayer, Paul Begay, Honorable Begay. Thank you very much. I'm on the line. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair is present. Chair, you have 7 members present, which constitutes a quorum.
Thank you very much, members of the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. We have quorum, and with that, we can continue to move forward to officiate this meeting. And we have the next item on the agenda is invocation, and the invocation was provided by Honorable Paul Begay. Moving on, announcements. Commissioners, is there any announcement that you guys have And go down the line. Honorable Elmer Begay, do you have any announcements? Once, twice, three times. Okay, Elmer Begay, announcement. Go, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know, just to let you know that some of these people that we serve aid on people that it's throughout the night, the one talk case for that area. Just like we feel like that every day, I guess. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Elmer Begay, for your announcement. Key Allen Begay, you have any announcements? Once, twice, three times. Honorable Paul Begay, do you have any announcements?
No, I don't, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Vince James, do you have any announcements? Honorable Raymond Smith.
No announcement.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Vince James. Honorable Raymond Smith, do you have any announcements? Moving forth, Honorable Yellowhair, do you have any announcements?
I don't have announcements. So
I'll go
thank you
ahead.
very much for recognizing me. And I want to say, just on behalf of Black Mesa, Chief Raja, not in Shinat, on the Senigi, when I say, not at the 24 councilmen, I signed off. Navajo-Hopi Land Commission were very important committee here to heal up a lot of stuff for a NPL and HPL. But we're on New Year now, 2021. We're beginning to start helping our people out there. Here in the hospital, it never caught the chateau. A teen the hot, it was cut down on the other one and down the Napa. Even each one of us, every names and down the every could have. Here, and you know, 2021 be a copy is cut each non-need of nothing could have in 2021. Yeah, go back to 5 he need to never have that's my announcement to you, my Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. No clinication at on his not zero the party is he knows I thought now then has come a combat card just got. I see at everyone the start on the other base that need clinic at your button the party base card just here one. So that's my announcement. Still honorable Chair Odo brothers. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'll go sit down. Thank you very much, Mr. Yellowhair, for your announcements. I know Honorable Thomas Walker and Honorable Herman Daniel didn't answer roll call. Moving forth on the agenda, let's go on to item number 2 on the agenda to go ahead and recognize guests and visiting officials. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and we have Mr. Shinanta, Mr. President. Can you introduce yourself?
Good morning. This is Jonathan Sheen. Shinado Cutness, the neighbor Shin. Chini, the Shichado, Kachini, the Shinana. And we are here to present an item to the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. I guess a reintroduction of the Housing Manufacturing Facility Initiative. And I do have our Veterans Director, Jim Zorline, on the call, and Pearl Yellowman from Division of Community Development, and others. And we just thank Robert for his work with the office Navajo-Hopi Land Commission office. And what we're wanting to do today is hopefully get support to move this initiative forward to build homes. There are homes waiting to be built. Money is available, right? We know that. But the veterans with benefits, NPL, and also those that want to purchase it. So I think now we need to put this back on the priority board. I know we've been the pandemic a lot. We got to do our priorities as a nation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nant. Okay, Mr. Robert Black, introductions. Okay, let's go down to.
Good morning, Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Black, introduction.
Got mentioned she Sanjikina on the front of the Jane versus chain. So it's a cheat me a to the nation and that I mentioned. Although I here providing time that the president's asking for. Really appreciate it if it can be added to the agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Oh yeah. Moving down on the agenda. I mean next. I guess Pearl, can you introduce yourself? Or Mr. Zurlander?
Good morning, everyone. This is Director Jim Zwerlein, the Executive Director of the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration. Thank you for having me on the call this morning.
Thank you very much. Susan Eastman, Department of Justice.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, this is Susan Eastman, Navajo-Hopi Legal Services Program. Thank you.
Okay, and then our staff, finance staff, Lynette. Just introduction purpose.
Morning, this is Lynette Lee. I am a she and Shalom Kinchini Bush's Chin. I'm from St. Michael's and I'm a legislative staff assistant for the Office of the Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Lynette. Then we have Martha.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Martha.
Okay, thank you. Then Ms. Nota.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cheryl Nota, legislative assistant for LOC at Nishla. Tachini Bashichin, Najini, Dashicheda, Disclane, Dashinale, Kinsley, Nasha, and good morning, everyone.
Cool. Okay, thank you very much for being her introduction. Then, is there any other chapter officials on the line? Okay. Agoshina, with that, I'm going to go ahead and move forth on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is reviewing and adopting the agenda. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the over to Martha. Go ahead and read the agenda into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. Happy New Year. This is the first Navajo-Hopi Land Commission in 2021. All begay citizen behind the citizen be nasta iltehnle. Do in the hay ben nash sadahasen. It put a hay citizen shouldn't ye nasika shaha. And the proposed teleconference agenda for the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission for Thursday, January 7, 2021. Item 1, call meeting to order, roll call invocation announcements to recognize guests and visiting officials. We review and adopt the agenda. 4, review and adopt journal 5, report. A, report by Robert Black, Jr., NHLCO, Executive Director on Program Projects and Activities. B, report by Lynette Lee of the Office of the Speaker on the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission 2021 budget report. 6, old business, none. 7, new business, none. 8, close the session announcement and adjournment. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I got a motion from Honorable K. Allen Begay. And we're going to go ahead and call for a second.
Second by Elmer P. Begay.
Second by Albert P. Begay. Koshila. With that, committee members, there was a request made by the president and President Nez, Jonathan Nez, and then Honorable Robert Black to add on the presentation relating to the housing manufacturing plant that is being proposed. Just so that you guys know, in this at this time, this is the time to add on items to the agenda, and they are requesting that, and maybe we can go ahead and put that as add that to the agenda. With the motion in place and I have a second in place, I'm gonna go ahead and recognize those two items, the motion second, and I'm gonna go ahead and move forth to turn it over to the commissioners. And see.
Chairman, so moved. Calvin.
Honorable K. Allen Begay, Commissioner Begay. Go ahead. With that, you have the floor.
No, Chairman,
Okay, alrighty then. So Honorable K. Allen Begay motions to amend the agenda to add on the housing manufacturing plant, proposed Navajo housing manufacturing plant onto the agenda as item C. And I know that the president has a very busy schedule, and if we may, let's add that as report A, and then we can go ahead and go into put Robert Black into B, and then put Lynette as C. We'll put them as A, the manufacturing plant A, and then Robert as B, and the office from the speaker's report as C. Is that okay with you, Honorable K. Allen Begay?
Chairman, yes.
Okay, I'll go see now. With
Chairman,
that, Mr.
Elmer Begay. Second.
Elmer Begay, go ahead.
Okay.
Alrighty then. Both motioning and seconding party agrees to that. How it's going to be report going to be in order, and with that, the amending to add on the housing manufacturing plant as report A, then Navajo-Hopi Land Commission office report as B, and Navajo-Hopi Land Commission budget report as C. It stands, and I'm going to go ahead and call for a question for amendment number 1. And with that, Mr. or Terrell, go ahead and call for the question for amendment number 1. No. I'll call for the question. So Sherelle, go ahead and provide roll call.
Honorable Elmer Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable K. Allen Begay.
Delegate Calvin votes green. Thank you.
Honorable K. Allen Begay votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Herman M. Daniel. Honorable Vince James, Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.,
Green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr.,
Thomas Walker votes green.
Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair,
I vote green. Delegate Yellowhair.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Honorable Herman M. Daniels, Honorable Vince James, Chair, you have 6 in favor, 0 opposed, 3 not voting, which is including the chair not voting.
Okay, motion carries. We have 6 in favor, 0 opposed, and chair not voting. Motion carries, and we have our agenda set and adopted. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and go down to the next item on the report is number 4, review and adopt journals 810. With that, I'm going to go on to item number 5 onto the agenda, receive reports. I'm going to go to A, and that's related to the proposed Navajo manufacturing plant by Honorable President Jonathan Nance and Mr. Veterans Director James Zurliners, and then I believe the Division Director for Community Development, Pearl Yellowman, will be part of the discussion, and she's on the line. And then the Executive Director for Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, Mr. Robert Black. With that, under the committee rules, we have 20 minutes for presentation. And and I'm gonna go ahead. It's 7:37. Let's go ahead and let's start your time at 7:38, and I'll recognize from at 7:38. And with that, Mr. Black, you have the floor. Mr. President, you have the floor. Then from here, you can go ahead and move forward to see who you can allow individuals on your party to speak to the proposed request to this report. Hagoshina, moving forward. You have the floor, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Robert Black. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. President.
I'll just briefly give an overview, a synopsis. This is really a project that we have all been working on in previous councils. It's not specifically an OPVP, but really the Navajo people. I mean, we've been wanting to build homes for our veterans, for our Navajo people for some time. And I think we have an opportunity to do that right now. And Robert and the team will give you all a presentation of what has been packaged up from the past. And I know it's doable because if you get a chance, I know Vice Chair Raymond Smith and I visited the new veterans facility there at Sabanito. That's kind of a smaller version of what we're here in building homes. If you get a chance, go see the veterans facility there in Sabanito. It has a small housing manufacturing project inside that. But what we're looking at is at a larger scale. Right now, the project that we're focusing on, and we want to be able to put maybe 3 of these up throughout the Navajo Nation. I was envisioning 4, but we all know that land is difficult. But in Tuba City, there is some economic development land available, and we feel like that's a central point for the Bennett Freeze and partition land area. I mean, we can go as far as Elmer Begay's district without losing money from it. You know, you have to have a radius, just like they do here in Gallup with the project that's here with Swift. And once you go beyond that circle, then it's cost effective. But here we can make it work with the Tuba City site. And so what I'm proposing with your support, Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, is, as you all know, there was a line item veto, and we want to repackage it, and we want to make housing a priority. I mean, we just budget money out without really no focus. And I think if the $7 million line item veto for the personal lapse fund gets rebudgeted, you know, of course, we're going to give chapter officials their shortfall on stipends and adult text to aging program, senior citizen program. But I think we could put about $5 million from those line item veto funds for this housing initiative to be placed under CHID. CHID has a mechanism to receive the dollars and to administer the dollars. But as the presentation that's going to be presented by Jim, Robert, Pearl, Dr. Yellman is on the phone, and Paulson, is that there needs to be an additional amount. And so the facility there is going to be a large building. Rather than just build a building, we like to develop office space and office spaces and focus on housing for various programs. So we're offering that we could include Navajo-Hopi Land Commission office and also put to use some of these rehab dollars or dollars that are there for housing specific for the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission office. So what we're going to be proposing is I can put in the budget for consideration by the council when we repackage the line item vetoes funds, because council will have to put their $2 million request back in, and then executive $7 million. I'd like to put $5 million out of that for housing, and we're asking that the commission be able to support the project with maybe some rehab funds. I understand that. I mean, there's other funds there with the commission, and a partnership like this, maybe $3 million or so from the rehab, maybe dollars that are there, or maybe even the $15 million that are coming in. I don't know when that's going to come in. I know I sent a request to find out when those dollars will be arriving, but there are dollars for the intent to help housing, and we know housing is very important for our people. And I think by working together in this new year in 2021, we could really improve the quality of life for a lot of our Navajo people. It'll be Navajo people, it'll be veterans, it'll be also the Bennett Freeze area, you know, Navajo-Hopi Land Commission that has oversight, you know, of some lands. I think in the next 2 years that we have in our term, I envision if we can get a package developed and get it approved, that we can start building houses by midsummer or the end of the summer. And man, it would be a project that we would be able to succeed on. And so I present that to you here today, and I'll turn the time over to Robert, and Robert, JZ, and Dr. Yellman could do the presentation as well. It's what we're looking at in depth in the proposal. So Robert Black, thank you.
Robert, you have the floor.
Chairman, so members of the commission, honorable delegates, good morning, and also to everybody in attendance. Just to kind of follow up a little bit on the president's introduction here, to the commissioners. I mean, I believe this is something that we're looking at in terms of addressing our needs on a long-term basis. And I've heard all the delegates when they were talking about one of the funding that could be potentially be used for addressing our relocatees and our folks that are affected by the benefit freeze, that the number one issue would be housing. And I think an initial meeting done with the discussion on the $15 million session, I believe the consensus was that the housing will be the priority, whether it's in Nahat-Atzil or Pinyon or Jericho or wherever the case may be, where we have all our folks that are affected by the relocation that are still in need of adequate housing. I know that Delegate Smith is really pushing that the folks whose homes were not really done correctly or affected by the bad assessments of the locations of where the housing were built. He continues to advocate for these people, and this could be one of the ways that we could address these, knowing that they O'Neill could be the one in play here to say that $15 million could be used to pay for replacing these homes. I don't know, benefit freeze. We have a situation where the chapters are really in need of technical assistance as far as building these homes, or even modifying or renovating the homes because of the lack of labor, or even experienced carpenters. So, I mean, if we could, if this could be used to also to address some of the folks out there to replace their homes or to fix their homes. Well, in many cases, to build the homes and then having them have a better location to live in, or a better structure to live in. So, and this will go beyond. I mean, and then I know that in partnership with the veterans and then also with Division of Community Development, this is something that could be, if it's well done and planned out, and the way it's going, it could be sustainable, and so I guess we'll provide some resources that the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission could use for numerous years to come. So I would appreciate your consideration, and I think this is just the start of the what will be, what we hope would be a long-term solution. And I emailed out the presentation that is going to be done by Mr. Zwerlein. If you could look at that, I think, and there's some areas that were being addressed already, and Mr. Zwerlein will probably cover that. So, what Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Black, for your portion of the presentation. Mr. Zwerlein, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable Commissioners, thank you and good morning. Good morning to Mr. President and Mr. Black and Dr. Yellowman. The Office of the President and Vice President and the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration, in conjunction with the Division of Community Development, Economic Development, and the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, are proposing the construction of a housing manufacturing facility in Curly Valley, just outside of Tuba City, Arizona. This facility will be approximately 20,000 square feet and has the potential to house staff in need of new facilities from the Veterans Administration, the CHID program, and the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission office. The purpose of this facility is to revolutionize the housing manufacturing industry and method currently used on the Navajo Nation. This process will bring the overall cost of housing construction down, allowing for the construction of a greater number of homes by the various housing programs. All housing programs within the Navajo Nation government will be able to take advantage of this process, as well as other governmental entities off Navajo, to include private citizens. The proposed site of this project is the Curly Valley Industrial Park area, highlighted in the presentation on slide number 2 by the red square. The proposed site for the housing manufacturing facility is roughly 5 of the total 22 acres withdrawn under a valid business site lease through the Division of Economic Development. This site already has the necessary infrastructure needed for the construction of this facility. Power, water, and sewer lines all currently exist. If this project meets the expectations, there is room for further site development of sister facilities that will produce other aspects of the homes that are currently planned to be procured off-site and off Navajo. As previously mentioned, this facility is planned to be approximately 20,000 square feet. 2,000 square feet will be used for administrative space. This space will be maximized by having 2 floors and be ADA accessible. The remaining 18,000 square feet will be used to produce modular housing panels used to construct the new modern Hogan design concept. The purpose behind this construction method is to be able to provide safe work environments for Navajo tradesmen protected from the elements. Warehousing the building materials until needed on site cuts costs due to pilfering and damage from the elements. This facility will also provide a safe working environment for individuals to put in their sweat equity towards their new home. This facility will contain all the equipment necessary for construction of homes that would not normally be provided by the contractor or their employees. Facilities such as this allow for year-round production and eliminate seasonal employment. The design of these new homes is fairly standard. 2 to 5 bedroom floor plans utilize identical panels. As a result, the construction process becomes similar to that of an assembly line. Waste is reduced and costs are further reduced. Contractors are able to save costs incurred by having multiple delivery sites and are able to maximize their workflow process. This further reduces the costs of the construction of a home. On slide number 4, there are currently 2 different options for the construction of this facility. The 20,000 square foot facility and administrative spaces will cost $7,520,000. You can see the data broken out on this slide. The $5 million option eliminates the administrative spaces, which could be added at a later time. It should be mentioned that if the administrative spaces are added at a later time, the cost incurred will be greater than the $2 million difference between these 2 options. The added costs will be due to a remobilization of contractors, bonding, and insurance requirements. These costs and others not currently identified could push the total cost for the administrative spaces closer to $3 million. I would also like to note that when this project was first conceived 10 months ago, COVID had not impacted the construction industry as bad as it has now. Steel, concrete, and transportation costs have caused the total cost to rise more than $500,000. If action is not taken on this project and others, costs will continue to rise until the pandemic passes and costs are able to return to a pre-COVID norm. On my final slide, I have several charts identified here. HUD currently forecasts construction costs on Navajo and Hopi at set rates. This is the line that's identified in the highlighted yellow at the bottom of the slide. NHA uses these rates to bid the construction of homes. Currently, we are estimating that the total development costs of a 2-bedroom home using these manufacturing facilities to be around $100,000. That same home is built under contract to NHA. That frees up a potential savings of over $190,000 that can be reinvested into the construction of additional homes. The exact costs are yet to be figured, and all the data represented on this slide are estimates. The estimated number of homes needed, reflected in percentages, is hard data based on applications currently on file with the Veterans Administration and the Navajo Housing Authority. The NNVA has a housing shortfall of 1,200 homes. NHA has a shortfall across the entire Navajo Nation of 34,000 homes. This facility and others like it, and this new construction method, will allow for more cost-effective construction and make the available funding sources last longer and cover the construction of more homes in a shorter time frame. So right there, I will end the presentation and turn the floor back over to you, Chair, and we will eagerly anticipate your questions on this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, James. I know we hit the timeline, but I'm going to allow more additional time to the presenters. And Dr. Yellman, Chinale.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you, Chinale.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning to the council here and President Nez and to my colleagues. I just want to add to the presentation. Right now, Division of Community Development, we receive weekly the status of homes that are in need of upgrade, and we receive almost weekly the status of living conditions for many of the people throughout the Navajo Nation. And this is one of the ways that will allow us to respond and provide quality homes. As it is right now, our CHID, Community Housing and Infrastructure Department, we have to apply for those federal dollars. There are regulations or strict regulations with the federal dollars that does not allow us to provide easily provide upgrades. So instead, we have to use other funds or non-restricted or less restricted funds to assist local families. So this is a mechanism and an approach to not only empower our nation, but allow us to provide assistance from within rather than relying on what we have to apply for annually. The other area I want to add is that we have been working closely with Mr. Robert Black's division and department and Mr. Zorline, but there's so many moving parts to making sure that the housing manufacturing is in place. I have shared with the commission here and the committee here the need to have the inspectors, the need to ensure that quality homes are being built, and that is another need for the nation to address, in which we are working towards as well. So I just want to keep that brief. Again, thank you, and we are standing for questions if you have.
Okay, thank you very much. It looks like we went through the individuals that the Honorable President Jonathan Nez introduced to speak to the proposal. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor back over to the President of the Navajo Nation to do a closing summary, and if there's additional speakers, he can go ahead and allow them. Mr. President?
Yeah, brother, Otto Navajo-Hopi Land Commissioners, Mr. Black, we do have Paulson Chaco also on the phone. And just a final comment, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I think this is the opportune time to get a housing manufacturing initiative across the finish line. And I am fully confident that those that spoke, Robert, Dr. Yellowman, Mr. Zerline, and Paulson, and your team can get this initiative completed. This year, I am very hopeful that this can be achieved. And the need for housing has been magnified by COVID-19, this pandemic. And like I said, I see other manufacturing facilities popping up all over the nation. But I think this could be a model. Once we start building homes, we can propose other facilities in other parts of the Navajo Nation. There's already a template, a model of these homes, and we are also encouraging self-help, meaning sweat equity type. And I think that's one way to really have our citizens there, not just get a free home, but be a part of building their own home. That's the vision that we've all had. I mean, we've all said this, and I think now is the opportunity with the proposal from your team, our team, putting it together, getting the dollars matched together, and let's just get it done. I appreciate your leadership and the Commission's work. And if I can ask Chairman if Paulson, our Chief of Staff, who is really the facilitator of a lot of these discussions, to include some remarks to you and the Commission, sir. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. President, I would allow Mr. Chaco to speak on behalf of the project also. And I was going to recognize him after you were done, because Stanley, need to get the all the individuals that are working on this initiative to bring a thorough, to shed light to this project so that the Commission with that, Mr. Chief of Staff, Paulson Chaco, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, and Mr. So, and members of the Commission. Good morning. Hawan Bandit, Kimijido Hashimito, Kitinabagan, Agwan Badadoni, Binyeban Dawit Ashat Yakudo. This morning I joined the meeting. As you're aware, that the discussion with the team here, which is Jim Zwerline, Dr. Yellowman, and also Robert Black, in trying to develop a site in Tuba. In addition, funding EDA, I've been in contact with NHA, also contact with other folks on actual funding of the project itself, and based on what I've seen and what I've heard from the team, is this is a doable project that we can immediately make an impact on within the next few months. If all the moving parts are put together. And that's the what we wanted to accomplish within the next few months. And I get us on donation and I could all the other reports have been made by my staff or the staff going forward. Mr. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, I believe the presentation is completed. And with that, I'm going to ask for a motion from the commissioners.
Yellowhair, voted motion.
Motion by Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. I'm going to request for a seconding motion.
Yelga, Elmer PBK, second.
Seconded by Honorable Elmer P. Gay. So with that, we have a motion in place. We have a second in place. And I'm going to move to the floor. Commissioners, do you have any questions to the presenters that presented this proposal to the Navajo-Hopi Land Commissioners?
This is Delegate Yellowhair.
Okay.
Chair.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Yellowhair. I will recognize Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair at this time. I don't know. The Kato will be Commissioner Elmer Begay. So, Mr. Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Yellowhair, you have the floor.
Good morning. Good morning, each one of you, my colleagues, Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, Don Hassan, out of West Church, each one of you, not only many Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. It's a very quite an honor that Mr. Our President Naz here, Kato ne but any vahin and she as your note, Kato Hisato Nini Yaniki, say vahin and she cut art a cordy, Kato never cut the Chihaki. Ni is no equator. A sharp the cardi, Kato Nichin, the president staff. What others has need on the show. This is on this quotation. I think I'm the right order that brings this to your attention. There's $50 million that was available. No, the very near that I had 28 black station consulted them long. Are they better area $50 million it chose either not it is Argent United States Congress Hanalia. That Ashago area it or making leader. The recommendation to Navajo-Hopi Kwajako now is NPL, HPL. Other cheaters in the editor doesn't he didn't need that then. He could have based on any needs a place of $1 needs no $15 million. So it can be used for the people's house up there. That someone Santa has it wasn't their fault that the house was built. These foundations have got the sun and the ice. I guess it was forced by U.S. to United States government to force the people to relocate. As I in that, what's king got here? It on up, even in that one, Jory Yada. Of course, you create tradition. So the $50 million as a based editor. No, not long, it's in space of $50 million. Then what you had it the NEPA. There's mentioned personal less from Kazuchi in Johania. So, what of course, either the way to change the $50 million that you keep a teeny bit or as bit on this no. National for legislation of what constitution on Mrs. $1,000 for your information. Upon the sortation of also. I need being a committee, HJ, already see let's put your HJ. You quite high legislation under Black Mesa and then there's a legislation 0313-20. That road I indicated were underfunded, not 10,500,000. Money is available, 22,300 acres by federal funding. Okay, RGK RDC for Yendi J Habitation RDC at Timpa. Our budget finance can be banned. I sit has with all the conde capits not 10,500,000 acres road Kajota team $112 million and $80,000. Eba hasne, kotik abahasneki, ane bahasneko, kotik is an auto that it doesn't need it or the compliment on this not 10,500,000. Other something, Milo. Ashisha Kendo.
Hold on, Jimmy, Honorable Commissioner Yellowhair. Point of order raised by Commissioner Elmer Begay. Mr. Begay, you have the floor.
Okay, my point of order is I think we have President Dole Batine, all staff, and then so stick with the agenda. On the housing, native builders was Kaneki. Yeah, about this since sure.
Thank you very much. I recognize that. And Honorable Commissioner Yellowhair, keep it to the issue of the Navajo manufacturing plant, proposed Navajo manufacturing plant. Thank you. You have the floor, Mr. Yellowhair.
Oh, okay. So cut off the phone. The tele. And behind the I'm sorry. I didn't hear anything. My lung got cut off. Anyway, I think it's appropriate to bring this to your attention, my colleagues on the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, because money is needed. After that, the Arch evening, then other favor me with this legislation to pave the highway. Everyone's about hospital. I don't have no cure, but I understand the AAR. I thought NPL, now be in the same later contact for you. So his name is not only. Okay, that was my legislation on behalf of Black Mesa. I'm very partial on his wish now. Should be hard in the bus at all in Oslo. Should none of sending back the party in the MP of the benefit that order Oslo. The way which has unended kind of Oslo. Who did another Irish hold now. Egg on his quotation. So, but now it is called ego. The way I live in his house, Mr. Elmer Begay, Marvin Curtis, so Reuben Nail, so Larry Gray hair, Eddie, but now the she other she part of his division of a car had no and so on. She then has Elmer Begay. Thank you very much. Go back on mute now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yellowhair. I'm going to go to one more, then I'll go back to the presenter. Honorable Elmer P. Begay.
Yes, well, around the members of the commissioners, around that should not that basically Mr. Black. Yeah, though. Around the attitude of the president, around the attitude of Miss Yellowman, around the Mr. Swearline. Yeah, good morning. My question goes to I know that we're trying to get native builders there, and then also to provide that remanufacture project in Cuba City area. So President Dole, around the Navajo Nation staff, that asking that is we're using we're under the Navajo Nation fundings. We all do to be fair and to think about our people. It's like what happened. There was a federal money that was allocated, which is about $714 million, provided to the Navajo people to serve the Navajo people, and out of all you like was given to money to serve the people for water line, power line, and housing, and then also water line that and the solar that broadband that which were available for the people, but to me we're overlooked at them again. These Navajo contractors and Navajo business owners, they're struggling. But what happened was that we gave a lot of money to the non-Navajos. I don't know that aid only the partnership and the 51% Navajo owners, contractors on Hotel. So I'm very disappointed, and the people are disappointed about it. That we say that we want to buy Navajo and then local buy. We wanted to say that, but also that's what people are saying. Us business owners, we struggle. So that's my question is, to be fair about it, that if we can put people in there, we have native Navajo contractors that did their job. And NTA can't even do it, and NECA can't even do it. I think these people were, people were ready to do their job and waiting for orders and waiting for to be paid. Now they did the bathroom addition, and then also the solar. We overlooked it, native renewables too. The native builders and we didn't get them on there as a solar insulation. So that's where I wanted to ask is how much is this is Navajo ownership to this native builders? And can we give us how much it's going to cost, breakdowns on building that manufactured homes? How much of that money that was Navajo Nation funding allocations we can start manufacturing this, maybe give us a more in-depth, so I can share that with my contractors, see what they think about. I think we need them to be fair to them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elmer Begay. And just to let you know that in the presentation, I believe this is strictly to the housing manufacturing. And then now I hear that native builders is a part of this. In the presentation, I didn't hear that, but maybe if the presenters can clarify that, because the way I'm getting Honorable Begay's question is that native builders going to build homes on behalf of, I guess, for Zurline, for this manufacturing plant. And please clarify that. But in the presentation, I didn't hear that, and I guess go ahead and clarify those for the what questions were asked. So I'm going to turn the floor back over to President Nez and his team. Mr. Nez, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Commissioners. Thank you for those questions and those comments. In terms of the housing manufacturing facility project, 100% of this would be funded by Navajo Nation money. So 100% of this
project will be Navajo, because it will be under the Community Housing Infrastructure Department, the CHID. And so we are moving forward in a wholly owned manufacturing facility for others. And yes, there'll be some subcontractors out there, but subcontractors, as Delegate Elmer Begay mentioned, we're encouraging Navajo business. This, as he said, for the $714 million CARES Act. You know, monies went to NTUA and NECA, and their subcontractors were Navajo. When I was out there checking on these projects, Navajo contractors were working on bathroom additions, the cistern projects, and house wiring, and many others. So we did make sure that our enterprises use Navajo contractors. Now, in terms of some commitments made, you know, I said to the council before that, you know, all these commitments that were made should be moved forward. But then some delegates said that they wanted all these monies to go back into hardship funds. And so the controller, a lot of the information went to the controller, and we continue to ask the controller that we made commitments and they should be fulfilled. But they determined on their side that they passed the deadline, even though much of the documents were submitted to the office of the controller way ahead of time. And so, but then I asked for reconsideration, but the council voted it down. So all that money is getting reverted back into the hardship funds. So that's just the way it is right now. And we wanted to make sure that folks like Native Renewables will get the contract. We barely got Talani Enterprises across the finish line. And other companies didn't get their funds and the contract commitment. So that's dangerous too. They can come back and sue the nation because of the action of the controllers. So there's not much more we can do. The controller works at the pleasure of the council. So if you all have some questions on those contracts, then I would just ask that you request a thorough report from the Office of the Controller on that $714 million. But right now, there's not much we can do. We did the executive branch. Overall, the monies that went to the executive branch, about 80% of the projects were complete. Judicial branch didn't finish much of their projects, and hardship monies went into that pot. So, but overall, our division directors did a good job in the short timeline that we have. But in terms of the housing manufacturing, there's words of Native builders. I don't know how they're associated, but this is a project that I believe can be handled by Navajo Nation in partnership with Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. Dr. Yellowman, can you add a little bit more on that? I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Mr. Zerline, you have the floor.
And then Pearl, you can talk about the $714 million. Elmer Begay's question. Thank you, Chair. Jay-Z.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Native Builders is tangentially involved in this project by the fact that it is managing the Navajo Thaw Initiative. They have subcontracted another group, another contracting entity called Building Communities. And Building Communities is who I have been working mostly with, but that has been on a grant application to find an alternative revenue source to fund this project. I mentioned in the presentation that this has been in the works for 10 months. 10 months ago, this project was ready to go. And the project, for reasons that I am not privy to, did not make it as part of the CARES Act projects. The documentation was submitted, but it was not approved as one of the final projects moving forward. So for the last 10 months, we've been looking for sources of revenue to be able to fund the project. And now we are where we are and looking for the revenues. Whatever we do decide moving forward from this point, the grant application is going to continue to be developed. And we did ask EDA at the very beginning of the grant application process that if the Navajo Nation is able to find a source of funding to get this project started, can the grant funds be used to reimburse actualized construction costs on this project? And the answer that we were given was yes. So where we are right now with the grant application is it is nearing its completion in preparation for a pre-submittal review by individuals at EDA, and they will make recommendations to us on how to alter or improve our grant application to ensure that it is more competitive. The conversations that we've had thus far, they have never seen a potential project that would be worth every penny as much as this project is. The presentation that was presented to EDA in the start of the grant application, they identified that we qualified for their grant in 32 different ways. And they basically said, we love your grant and we will do everything that we can to help you ensure that you are able to get that grant. The problem with the grant process is it is going to take several months for them to review the grant application and then approve and award the funding for the projects. And we all know now that during this pandemic and even pre-pandemic, our Navajo people need the housing and they need it right now. So we are looking for financial funding sources to provide the start of the construction now. And Native builders, building communities is helping us find alternative revenue sources to be able to repay the Navajo Nation anything that we put into this project now. So that's how building communities and Native builders are involved. They are not part of the management of the construction of the homes, and these fundings that we are looking for are only for the construction of the housing manufacturing facilities. Mr. President, back to you, sir.
Pearl, Elmer, Council Delegate Elmer Begay had a question on the subcontractors and the non-natives contractors. Can you answer that? I mean, with NTUA and NECA and others, they have been using Navajo businesses, because I saw them myself when I was out there reviewing these projects. Dr. Yellerman?
All right. Thank you, President. And good morning again, honorable members of the commission. The legislation that DCD was tasked with was 47-20, where we contracted through Navajo Nation master contract. We did not use the subrecipient agreement. We did use the Navajo Nation master contract, and it was created so that we could continue this mechanism of producing bathroom additions past the December 30th deadline. And this is one of our first times going into a contract with NECA. NECA was good experience working with NECA. They were able to subcontract some of the bathroom additions out in various places. Some of the Navajo subcontractors that they hired, for example, were Shiprock Construction, Lamb, AG Solutions, Navajo Solutions, Larson Plumbing. They were one of the listings, but that contract actually didn't go all the way through. Little Mountain. Those are some of the subcontractors that we utilized for the bathroom addition. The other legislation that we were tasked with was 67-20, and we worked with N2A on the power line. But I also want to action on Delegate Elmer Begay. We did consolidate under CS 73-20 all of the requests from the 110 chapters. There were various chapters throughout the Navajo Nation that requested for solar units, and we consolidated between 11 and 13 chapters to utilize native renewable solar, as they had been a part of some discussions throughout the pandemic, and we were encouraged and wanted to utilize their services. But unfortunately, that contract that was signed by the president before November 20th did not make was deemed incomplete on November 20th. But we did have a contract. We did consolidate the requests from the chapters that were requesting for the solar units to be utilized to native renewable, but that unfortunately did not make it past the November 20th. The other time that housing came up or housing was considered was under 209-20 as well, and then other areas. But nonetheless, the need to address housing during the pandemic has been a big topic, and then utilizing our own Navajo Nation companies was a goal that I believe we achieved. So all in there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yellman. Turn the time back over to you, Chairman. Thank you for those questions and comments from commissioners.
Thank you very much. Next on the list will be Honorable K. Allen McGay. Then we'll go to Honorable Raymond Smith. Honorable K. Allen McGay, you have the floor.
Chair, I'll have a follow-up question after other delegates. Thank you. Delegate McGay.
I'll put you back into the queue. All right, K. Allen McGay, you have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman. Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. Members ni kliniki at ikinin pidini dole. Kudo nishin tahadna akisto. President Nez, Hopi Land Commission, staff of kliniki aden, President's office down. Kudo nidia brother Unite Desk Kit. Some of the areas that I wanted to ask. Tikatli Bayel Kit. Sate o izinsin siya. Hanza la e o Bayel Kit only. To Hanza la e to. Alabit kita hujish. To ope ek ahna halo e kudo hada e. Beche hanit siya o. Hot einde. Tikat yad liniki to hawan hito liniki ki. The one area kudo Franciscus be sitting on the RDC. The Janish A has Aj Hawan de Nito Hawan Beta Inish Akoko Yego Nahot Plato Aj has Aj. The board members in Denigi do Kehnahuil Eta Ado Anido legislation post Elia TDH. Acronym na. Akut ego ko kuto ajet ka initial one or Satan, the nan diniki did one diniki, hit nappy kite or was no such a thing in Hada eats it. A cocoa, a night this kidiki, a Allah, a chapter has this. You stayed nisto to arch saho. There's several areas or there's several steps that has to be done as well. Coco Jordan Kayaka the ya done. Ado ishin kodobe Casey Zing go sato ale on hindanal hitnan dilgi via hata a yika banik hit an nisato. Coco his alate ato niti kiti hawan hat niniki don na ken lingo go pa isne to leto be andet ki hem huil ne to ato e ba ye kid nan dinigi no yi shido ina ileto le ki hat a la a ni la na da nitsen get from point A to point B in between you there's policies and regulations is where it rests with the council to some extent. What huge and hot water line at dots that the power line at dots right away that ninigi that home site lease requirements that hakit h illicit kodo agent net and ninigi application otanel base of it and odiesi so illicit all agent net techland so you ban case we so hardly yes sure like to get a certain amount of funding for the community that we represent here. Because Low Mountain do Kachi Blue Gap, Burnt Corn area, Aja, Ego A, Kodo, Shizazido, Benachi, Age Hopi Land Commission, Ajit Ha, Sata. Maybe in overall, it ala assess Eliala, it ala a assessment, Egi Elia, Go A, Baby Nachi Kodo. Baby Kate is go or the Nanley Sacho had such a kid that indicate that all Aj go pesos for another Shahan gate or what or Nahui dot ash. So Benago go hit all the Ecuador. Now, toss and Liniki Pacata, Liago, Golan Jondo, lessons. What specifically and how are the funding will be appropriated for each of the areas that we represent on the Navajo Nation in the NPL area? Kisto Aj Akoko Ebe Benachakodo, E Dona Kenlom, Dik at Ajebekehon Kedahat Indiki, Chapter Banan Nahaki Dila, AEC Gidit or Ajahawan Liniki Papa Hazna Dole. It out I thought they need Nigo Shante, Adon can lingo go Ecuador baby Kate did see the store. Who are then did up in chaos, Ado a jo ahozin. So quaggy git assessment adolescent zinga. Then chapter, Low Mountain chapter, it like Kachipu gap chapter did out Aja, the innate launching Argent, Hawan Dindigi and Hub Gahato, Nisto. But Ashley, when didn't get agent, I thought Mr. Nigo go Itaho. So, I don't question the company or I don't question who they are, but the quality of it, the service, the Gishin, I get just that. Put your veterans homes, what that, all you all knows, the water line, the power line, the whole load, other home site, least, it's not shown how to list or double it, no. Be they just what that age like hit our agent ya then get to argue that you based on then go argue or can take that either that she one bedroom that she that be not those little could just service get you argue can take that store the carbon magic out of it all and hit that door based on that because need to list store if we truly mean to help our Navajo people. Could we double or even triple the dollars amount? Could that be done? Other you are then based on that Washington. Then could we also schedule a certain amount of scheduling with the representatives at DC level to ask for additional funding as well. Ilakit aje hot ego kodo bigahwil nehla to aje. So they that haki a shisazido kodo al naanko peso na be keti ka ado ade administrators that chileniki shohidit nahot eto tit kwagi tit ben nahit haki behas dit Australia la bonetsa jot ni get to chaisi tsantla out of the current administration or the current local chapter jot down orientation band that state so there's certain there's new leadership at the chapter level but for my 5 chapters that I represent, majority of them came back in. So not just only housing, other area, broadband, water line, electricity, based on Linigi, one at all, Nishiki, Kipito, I see one taste Sato not the chapter Linigi Binada Betelchis. That's how one need Aunt Ego did art at so George the neta, not the Bayata. And then the after how long will the builders be able to provide maintenance? So a lot of time they bill and then they say that it's out of our hand. The foundation is shifting and that's where the building codes comes into place and in the Bahada then Kodo one lingit or you or de Nisto. That ego hit out the North Haton so the Schnee the Jo hit all the big cat teacher hit Nan Linigi. I want a bandot after Banda Hitot so Jo. A nation so we're here to help and I appreciate the presentation and hoping that we just don't build a few but I hope that we're in the process of building several hundred or even thousands of homes. There's a lot of our Navajo people that lives in shed houses or even multiple households in one house for Elahit Elan Soya Kodo Ban such case and the qualification Ninigiki. So what our Kodo Shisazido, Bana Deskido Listo, Behasit or Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable Raymond Smith.
Thank you, Chair. So, Honorable President of the Navajo Nation, Vice President Staffel, Commissioners on Ofinigi, Otto Shanella, thank you for the prayer this morning, Julia. It's a beautiful morning out there. Those staff on Ofinigi, to Robert Black, and the attorneys on Ofinigi. This is I think that's an idea that's being tossed to us right now. Let's go back to reality. Any legislation that comes forth through the council, it never turns out to be what was intended to be. Oh, you do Christ, and she, what ha. So, the bone it's other. Then when it goes across the street, what happens? It's either accepted, rejected, or line veto. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Hajishan here, building code. We're going to put this manufacturing plant over there. Signed in here, building code it then. Everything unleaded not. Let's see. Oh, one. That's all, yeah. I see it over. Kenya, Danjona, that's all, yeah.
What does blood? What that kid at? I'm going to building code. Actually, that's Eliago Sheen John. Being after we made a directive, or it was a condition of appropriation. It is a sort line item veto. It's you get a building code by the second quarter. Get ensign. 23rd Council. Hey, the former Honorable Hale. Teat Aj. What do you think that's a schal? One is says. But we really need a building code for home purposes, residential. They commercial though. I don't know, but nonsense, but that kinder did ne? We she so thought they did 20s. I'm not against that. If you really want to start moving with housing projects, they did church rock there. Get down, cabinet factory. I thought nicht done in there. What the hell? Right by the railroad track. You possibly could load it up right there and gallop and send it out to Flagstaff. Unload it and then ship it over to the areas that is needed until that building's built. Cost effective cut. And then when that building's built, then you can move your factory over there. And then this CARES money, though. I see it's open neat date. Skilo. Hardship that they know. I say nee. The hayat nah. I don't like yal but nil tsuda. But they actually papa. Akunda. We don't even know how much we're going to have left over. Other than that, kiyal, other than tiyal, 25% or 50%, not even 50%, other than 20% of that hardship. And the main question too is, it sounds like it's just geared for Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. It sounds like that's what's going to take place. You hit Ned I see. Ho one cheta yoke. And I know there's places in my area. Mr. Harrison Key. Ho one the mazak ada. Nachtas. He needs a home immediately. I know veterans at the initial. So which way are we going? Are we going to be manufacturing and forget about the veterans? I thought the intent was to really help the veterans. We got a housing legislation going through that's going to be dropped, for the veterans. How are we going to balance that? These are the concerns that I have. Although next 2 years, not that unique. Is the same administration going to be in? So not. When I go, not the needle. That's not. And we got 2 years. It's going to take some time to get this thing going. I see the Navajo Nation chapters. They're frustrated with us. I see that. JPK, not so. Okay, they kai. No so she out. Oh, he's not kind of hello. That case either. But if we're really going to be doing this,
look at that old cabinet factory until you get monies to build that place. That's a big place over there, and it's covered, and it's huge enough to manufacture like what I saw over there with President Nez at the Veterans Office with Mr. Z. So, Chair.
Very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chair and Honorable Kialam Gay. With that, I'm going to go back to the panel. Presenters, you have the floor. Thank you, Shane.
All right. Well, thank you again, Chairman. And Navajo-Hopi Land Commission. Commissioners, thank you. You know, this initiative is a partnership between the CHID, the Veterans Organization, and others. And there are dollars sitting there already to build homes. The long-term vision here is to have our own housing manufacturing facility here on the Navajo Nation. So we can train our Navajo people so that they can open up their own businesses, or they can work for Navajo-owned companies here. And we do have a model for an octagon, which we've seen at the Sabanito Veterans building. And you can add to that depending on the client, the customer. The veterans, the Bennett Freeze folks, and of course, Navajo people. There are some Navajo citizens out there that have the money to get a home built. And so it is a larger initiative for Navajo people. And we would like to model that to other places, maybe other areas, maybe the Shiprock facility that was mentioned, or any other lands that are available. But since we're talking to the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, and the Bennett Freeze has been a priority for all of us, we want to have a partnership here to build homes for our Navajo citizens. And, you know, this is a priority for us, for all of us. 24th Council and the Office of the President and Vice President. So here's the opportunity. There's $7 million that's ready to get allocated. We want to use $5 million of that. We're asking the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission if they want to have an office space in there, and also to include the Bennett Freeze NPL area to build homes. So, you know, if $3 million can be allocated, we can have a self-sufficient project here for the Navajo people. So that's the proposition. I mean, the plan and the idea is there, and I agree with Kiel, and we've been talking about this over and over again. And what was presented by Jim Z this morning gives you an idea, and it's put on paper now, that this is what the vision would be for all of us. That is put on paper. And those documents should have been sent out to the commissioners. In terms of the International Building Code, if that's the code that we're going to use, then we ask the council to approve it. It's just been sitting there from one council to the next. And once we get that code, and Jim Z will talk about that,
it's ready to go as well to adopt those codes for the homes here on Navajo. So I just wanted to reiterate that. I know that some of you may have not caught much of the presentation at the beginning, but we did give the information over to you. And this is the idea. Of course, it's going to be packaged up in a proposal for everybody to take a look at, including the Navajo Nation Council members, because that's our recommendation, to utilize these funds and to utilize the line item veto dollars for this very important initiative. And these dollars should be allocated for priorities of the Navajo people. As we went throughout the Navajo Nation, people were asking for homes. How can they get a home built? They were willing to build their own homes. They were willing to use their own resources to get a home. And here is our proposal to this commission. If they are wanting to use some of their fundings that they oversee for this initiative. But there will be a proposal for $5 million, which is the smaller version of the proposal that will be presented as a allocation of those line item veto dollars and the personal lapse funds. Because it's a priority for the people, and there's only so much we can do. We're putting the proposal before council, and it'll be up to the council to move this initiative forward with some funds. So just wanted to add that in. Let me turn over the time over to Jay-Z. There were some questions about things, and then Paulson, go ahead and conclude, if I may, Chairman. Jim Zorline.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Zorline, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. President. I would like to start by making a correction to a statement I made a minute ago. I do know why this project was not included in the package. We had stipulations that construction projects had to be completed by December 30th. And given the time of potential contract award after the CARES Act legislation was to be signed, the contractor who we had lined up to perform the work on this project could not guarantee that the work would be completed within the deadline. So that was why this project was removed from the CARES Act funding proposal. There's a couple questions on the building codes. Yesterday, Dr. Yellowman and I were meeting on this very topic. We are planning a work session with an executive branch to include CHID, DCD, myself, Navajo OSHA, and the fire chief to review the draft legislation for the building codes to make sure that it is still what we would like to see moving forward so that it can be represented to council. About a year ago, I did give the initial version of this legislation to 2 delegates on the Resource and Development Committee for action. And hopefully they will continue to be sponsors for this legislation when we do have a finalized product again from the executive branch. Building codes themselves do not make safe dwellings or structures. It is the inspection for compliance to those building codes that makes for safe dwellings, safe structures. And the problem that we run into here on Navajo is that, yes, we have not adopted that uniform building code. We do sometimes put in our contracts a requirement for contractors, whether they be residential or commercial, to retain third-party inspectors to perform inspections on the work, and that adds to our costs within that contract. The states and jurisdictions of Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, they have flat outright said, as state inspectors, they will not come onto the Navajo Nation to perform inspections because they respect our sovereignty. They can come and look at a project, they can find things wrong with it, but they do not have jurisdiction to enforce compliance with those inspections. So by the Navajo Nation adopting a building code, and the code to be adopted is the standard code recognized by those three jurisdictions, the International Building Code established by the International Code Council. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We are simply saying that these nationally recognized codes are what the Navajo Nation is adopting. And then from there, we are able to make specific modifications to the code to make sure that those codes fit for the Navajo Nation. Specifically, the fire code. There are a lot of issues within the building code and the fire code that require fire suppression systems, whether that be foam systems or water sprinkler systems, that because of our water issues and funding issues on the Navajo Nation, things like that become prohibitive and outside of Navajo would cause a project to not receive a building permit to even get started. So again, this is why we're going to be doing the executive branch work session to make sure that the legislation is appropriately addressing these issues. And then our intent is to sit down with members of RDC and other members of council to be able to gain enough support and understanding for this legislation that it can be passed as is without additional changes. There were questions from Honorable Kiel Begay about veterans housing and their access to water, power, and sewer. And you're 100% correct, sir. The veterans' homes were built in the past, not connected to water sources, sewer sources, and power, not even solar. And the short answer to that question is the policies and the legislations that were approved for the program prohibited the expenditure of program funds for those items. And everybody who looks at this says, holy smokes, how could we have done something like that? And that's why we are trying to address that issue to be able to fix this moving forward. So these homes that would be produced in these housing manufacturing facilities take all of that into account. The contracts that would be entered into by the various housing programs, Veterans Administration, CHID, NHA, all of these homes built, they will be complete homes. The veteran, the applicant, the occupant, they're not going to have to worry about trying to find a third party, a fourth party, a fifth party to try to install and provide these connections. That's the definition of a turnkey home. When we are finished with construction and we provide the key to the occupant, the home is 100% ready to go. We're talking about the site for the building there in Tuba City. The site is on a valid business site lease. It is currently in force. The site is owned by Business Regulatory, the Western Agency Business Regulatory Office. So it is ready for development. The infrastructure is there. I did not include the overlay that indicates where the sewer, water, and power lines are, but we have all of that identified. We have engineering studies of the 22 acres in that business site lease. So included in the construction costs of this project are the site improvements to raise the level of existing foundation to a point where it would not be in danger of being subject to flood. That ties directly into that facility in Church Rock. The reason that facility is not being used is because it also sits in a floodplain. And in the last several years, it has flooded multiple times. When NHA had their Southwest Cabinets business in there, they lost millions of dollars of inventory and product several times because of that flooding. So the Eastern Agency Regional Business Development Office has plans to demolish that building, raise the surrounding grounds above the floodplain level, and rebuild a new facility. So we have tried to get that facility so that we can get something up and running, but we are being denied at this time. There was a question, or at least a comment, about 1-bedroom designs. These hogans that we're designing now, I did mention that they are ranging from 2 to 5-bedroom floor plans. We are not doing studio designs or 1-bedroom designs because the design that was used is using a concept called age in place. The intent is that when an occupant occupies this home, that they have that home until the date of their passing. And we acknowledge that as individuals become older, they may require live-in assistance. And so with a 2-bedroom design, that live-in assistance would have their own separate bedroom. And that way they're able to live on site and maintain the care 24 hours a day for the individual who requires that care. When we start talking about the facility itself and its capacity to keep up with the demand, we talked that this facility is going to have 18,000 square feet. For those who have seen, and Vice Chair Smith, I know you've seen the facility, we're able to build in that facility in San Benito 1 home at a time, and that's sitting on less than 2,000 square feet. 18,000 square feet is going to allow us to build 9 or 10 homes simultaneously. And the construction process, some people have said that my estimates are very bold. And so I'll provide you a more conservative estimate that if we're working on 10 homes at the same time, we could build 10 homes in a week. Realistically, based on my personal experience in construction, we could build 10 homes in a factory like this in 1 day. We could build 50 homes in 1 week. The only thing that's going to slow down the actual installation in the field is the time it takes to build concrete foundations. Concrete, given the nature of what it is, you can't rush concrete. You can't rush stable foundations. Proper excavations, proper soil testing, proper compaction testing, that takes some time. It takes some time for the concrete to cure sufficient to carry the load of the structure that's going to sit on it. So when we say between 30 and 45 days for the foundation, we mean 30 and 45 days. So we are realistically looking from start to finish for an individual home between 45 and 60 days to be able to give an occupant their keys. So we are only limited in funding for the number of homes that we can build. If we have one factory that is producing 10 homes a week, we make a second factory, we're getting 20 homes per week. We make a third, we're getting 30 per week. The amount of factories that we have across the Navajo Nation is what is going to dictate our pace. And if this plan works as it is being forecast to work based on off of all of the input that we've gotten thus far, we have every indication that it should work, then we're going to be able to start churning out hundreds of homes a year for a fraction of the cost of what NHA is paying right now. And as Vice Chair Smith did allude to, the Veterans Housing Program legislation, there are changes coming. And I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I believe even Vice Chair is going to be the sponsor of that legislation. So as soon as we can have that legislation dropped, the Veterans Administration is prepared to enter into contracts with Navajo-owned contractors to start building these homes for our veterans. The facility in San Benito is operational. It's ready to go. We just don't have the type of capacity that we're talking about with this facility in Tuba City. It's literally 1/10 of the capacity. The president may have mentioned this, but because the San Benito facility is up and running, we do have a mock-up in that facility. And so next week, I invite you to come by and take a look at it to see what the process actually looks like, to be able to do a visualization and see and walk through a mock-up of one of these homes. And the president did mention that these homes are expandable. The design was done that way intentionally. So if we have a young family that is just starting out, they're able to receive one of the 2-bedroom homes through any of our programs that they qualify for. And as the family grows, the home can be expanded without major modifications to the existing structure. It's the simple addition of another octagon to the main facility, to the main home. And the family can grow from 2 bedrooms up to 5 bedrooms in these designs. So with that, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, I will relinquish the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zurlander. I have a lineup, and I'm gonna go ahead and recognize Honorable Thomas Walker. And then I have 2 other questions back from Elmer Begay and Mr. Yellow here. So, Mr. Thomas Walker, you have the floor. Commissioner Thomas Walker, you have the floor.
Yeah, Chairman. So we're giving me the time to speak here this morning at our special commissioner meeting. Yeah, Navajo-Hopi Land Commission members, and staff, so Martha, the presenters also, Honorable President Robert Black, all your agents also that are co-presenting this morning. I appreciate the report, appreciate the propositions, appreciate the what's being discussed here is in terms of it being a vision, a plan, and a goal for the betterment of our people, various groups of citizens that we have, and all based on need for housing, need for standard living conditions, need for security, need for safety. And then, of course, discussed here is the possibility of developing places, facilities, sites where manufacturing can take place. So that in itself is development. That in itself, brings jobs and economic activity to certain regions and certain communities. So it's all progressive in that sense. President although I wanted to just go back to mention for the record that I believe there is opportunities in each of our communities as delegates, communities that we represent in our legislative districts. There's strengths and weaknesses as far as development. I represent 5 communities, as we all know, and 4 of those communities are impacted by the Navajo-Hopi land situation. So although former beneficiaries that were impacted by that, so we're also having to relate and deal with HPL, though NPL, that we have relocatees living here and there in our communities that have relocated from various parts of the nation. So from today's discussion, what's related or what's of interest to the commission here is that area, Navajo-Hopi land settlement impacted areas. So from that standpoint, I'd like to just put forward the information or idea that Talani Lake community does have a facility. It was a gymnasium, community gymnasium. That at one time it was a school, elementary school. and those are no longer there. And right now, it's just used for recreation for our local youth. So it does have a basketball court, showers, offices, has a commercial size kitchen and office spaces. So it's maintained and it's kept, for use. I want to just put that sort of like out before you. And I did have this conversation with Mr. Robert Black several months ago. So I told him to go take a look at, make the assessments and see if it's usable in any way for opportunities like the ones we're talking about now. So I'd like to put that to you, leadership. Gymnasium repurpose it now. So I see and there's additional buildings, also duplexes that are nearby that could be used for office spaces. Also, those could be repurposed. I say this, and I want it to be taken as in the form of suggestions and ideas. We could have a good recommendation to the nation, but I'd rather have the nation come down to take a look at it and see how feasible it may be, and then initiate discussions on it. I'd like to contribute this to the overall discussion on manufacturing homes and the manufacturing of Navajo or homes for Navajo families and veterans. So I hope you take this in a really positive fashion and with the intent of working together, with the intent of doing something really extraordinary for our people. Appreciate the discussion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Walker. Honorable Elmer Begay, your follow-up question.
Oh, Sir Chair, I wrote members of the commissioners. I wrote the president. So I don't know if you're still on the line. I wrote Mr. Black. I wrote Satsudo. Thanks for the report. But my follow-up question goes to I agree with the president. That the priority on housing needs, on infrastructure needs. I totally agree with him. That wishing that the council, that when it had to put more money into the more money back into infrastructure for the extension of CARES funding. Unheeded and to put into hardship. I think we've so I totally agree with you. Your thoughts is like that, so I support that. I don't that back to my question regarding the CHIT program. So I don't know we can go through that. And again, I think it's been 2 years now. There's no housing being constructed. I don't know elsewhere does it that yet, but on this side of the southwest part of the reservation, I've never seen any new homes that were built through the program of CHIT. All I know is that the improvement that needs to be happen is I got veterans, 2 of them, my material the house count that's what that's then I don't know he's veterans I see which in the hotel or let's see how then So I don't know when it's restarting again. So that's the kind of program that is going through, and nobody's telling us about how they're going to be improving it. We don't want that to be happening like that again. I thought that, and we had to put confidence in this. After 2 years, after we haven't seen any housing being developed through this program. Even now, we wanted to know, because of that is we have contractors that are ready to do, because of this NTA and NECA. These contractors, they've been here. I've been talking to them too. There's a deeper batteries out of car that is led all these panels that and we're looking for the next listing that's on each later. We can go to the other one. What we're doing is we came from Cameron, which is White Ruins. I think the listing we had to go back to Cameron area. No. These are the way NTA and then NECA is operating. We can't really afford that now. No, so we're renting equipment. The way to schedule it. They've been done. We had to Corona, they Kahana, Kanda, they Camerons. There's one. We had to carry all this equipment back there again. It'll be like they don't know how to be a self employment. And then the husband of business that was there, the husband what I scheduled that he was on business. No, that's very I mean, it's really bad poor management that I saw in TA and NECA. President. I think we need to really help the advocate for Navajo business people. The husband, they know what they're doing. We haven't gone into that phase yet. So I appreciate being considered that the local preference, rural business opportunity. I want to work with you on it. So you have to have this situation.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Yellowhair, you had a follow-up question.
Yeah, hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Yellowhair. Stay around that tree right there. Don't move.
Okay, today on the thousand on the in large Marie hard to attend to Forest Lake, Pinion, Black Mesa, Whippoorwill. I see you up at Adidas, NPL, XPL, in 6,000. She did a China is not either. She's not all not 6,000. The history of what happened and forced the Navajo relocated. A Yashi, his senior citizen by Yashi. He thought the whole thing. She's not bulldozer. Not be one, she didn't need your money. She done lean there, but who can't one mother bulldozer to try ya. So I was powerful, right up a husband, yeah, and now what it was yaki. She 6,000 broken air on das kid. It even in a share, yes, it is other than because or he one by years right now. As they built this road house back then, it was just very forced, very hasty to build a house. I think we're talking about the house. The house must be built quality. So whoever going to do construction must have guarantee how many years can they stand by this house. Especially that insurance on that, Jada, it could die on how that let it can. But based on the scope of work, it's going to spell in there. Yes, we have some Native American Navajo that can build house. They're going to have to go by these regulatory under Navajo Nation business development. Yida, the initial Ebening, Hawanin, and Banaki, Hawan Yat, Shantor, Lins, and El Tohotani, Kades, Igote. It is as a artist, indeed. Aro, I have a confidence with my son, she is, the Navajo Nation president, Mr. President Nez or Mr. Lazar, Toshiete. Ako, a fancy case on there. Say, ya, don't zagol de payashtida. Palata hot anasa the next time. The name Nika, Dohotina, no, means from some time when it's fall time. She's at a sleep, are they discuss Dohotina, which means that immediately, expeditiously to do your work. No, a thing of joy, no, don't or die, kid and didn't. We understand his message, so we all start working. Even in this case, let's do a job. Let's do it, take care of this work. Let's not talk about it all the time. Let's fix it this year. Based within 24 councilmen, and Navajo-Hopi Land Commission, clinic, a deal, not for deal, Mr. Veteran, Division Director, Mr. Paulson, Mr. Black, Shea Kodorsto. I usually meet with Dr. Yellowman off and on. We talk about a lot of discussion. What can we accomplish those important projects? The day I joined a 23rd councilman, 1 month ago, I replaced Mr. Weatherspoon. He thought, I think, just a team of Margin Day, 8031 Highway, thought, 19, thought, Lishiki, other, a paper, thought, national. I thought at that day, 24 councilmen, and not issue. I didn't waste my time on the brag. Because it's not so. A teeny engine ago, it all needs to snow. Site had a hard laugh, 8031. A legislation is 8066 though. 818, years with fall, cup jet, teeny highway, need out place, Euro crossroads. This is all an NPL. If you are very serious about now with NPL, HPL, these are in these areas. So that today, those 3 legislations are going to come before today. Hope come before today, before the Navajo-Hopi committee, but it's not on the agenda. But our request for spinner rules so it can be done. According to the echelons, the advocate need to need to network echelons not only. Other citizens need the net legislation is I don't ask for revised. The legislation be respected. But people have it age. The category would have the thought this case, but not on case. On such case.
Yeah. To the manufacturing plant, not to the legislation that you're introducing or you have in the process. Please gear your question to the manufacturing plant. Thank you.
Okay, it's not. Yes, we'd like to see a manufacturing plant. We'd like to see it got to be a good quality home to be built for a NPL. The house needs to be rebuilt or HPL, and also veteran too. That's talking on it. Isn't it just based on the veteran, the division director, Mr. Holland, Arjun Constantine, other sources, she President Nango, other Paulson, RG, Bias, Tigishing, they are planning to share other cases as a quality home. That's important to build that one. bahasna ki manufacturing. Kutasing tare non-state only. Jabahatol. Bahatol disorder that scope of work will be into that building there too. Also, state only. Our trusted, our President Navajo Nation President Naz, all your staff. Thank you. I'll make it short. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll turn the floor back over to the presenters.
Thank you, Chairman. So, this is Jonathan and members of the commission. I'm going to have to leave shortly. I've been on for 2.5 hours, and we got a quick briefing on vaccination for COVID-19, and then we got our town hall meeting at 10 a.m. on how these vaccine distributions will be done to our 65 and over and our high-risk patients this week, next week. So I'll be leaving the call shortly, but Paulson and the team are on the call to answer questions. And I just want to end by saying that I agree with everybody that this has been a long time coming. And the reason why we bring this proposal to the commission, yeah. Hello?
You're okay, Mr. Ness. We hear you.
Okay. All right. I just heard somebody say hello. So what we're proposing to the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission is possibly using some of your funds that you have oversight over to match this $5 million proposal. Jay-Z gave some options up to $7 million for the entire project to be completed. I also heard recommendations of the shiprock facility. Now, if some of that $5 million that I'm recommending to be used for the shiprock facility, so maybe $3 million from the rehab funds that you have. I know those are still sitting ready to be earmarked. I think that would be the quickest way to get this project underway. I know the $15 million is still coming down the pipe, as they say, from the feds. So we're just requesting to see if the Navajo-Hopi Land Commission is wanting to supplement the project with some of their dollars so that we can get to the city housing manufacturing facility up and going for building homes in the Bennett Freeze and in PL. And, I know that utilizing our own workforce, we could also begin to repair homes that were done incorrectly during the time homes were being built for relocatees, So all those ideas are going to be presented in this proposal. And of course, this is not a president proposal or a council proposal. It's really the Navajo people's proposal, right? I mean, we all recognize that the Navajo people have been wanting this to happen, and I think now's the opportune time. I know we've been focusing on the pandemic for 10 months now. That's been our focus. And we've all worked together to save lives, and that's what we've done, and helping our people. But as we now have a vaccine, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, as they say, to start beginning to go back to the Navajo people's priorities, and that is housing and infrastructure. So I do agree, Delegate Elmer Begay, and willing to work with you on those projects. And also, Mr. Winter, I'd like to take the time to go and visit that gymnasium you were talking about. So other than that, I appreciate the time and appreciate all the comments and questions. And I think we are on a positive track for this new year in 2021 to coordinate and collaborate on the people's priorities. So thank you, Chairman. So thank you, Commissioners. And Paulson is on the phone. Paulson, are you still there?
Yes, President, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead. I'll turn it over to you. I know there were some questions in Navajo. You can go ahead and answer. Thank you, sir.
Okay, hold on, Paulson. Before President gets off, Mr. Shina, but I'm not gonna say that, you know, when anything is proposed in Tuba City or in that region, oyo and I agree 100% with the land withdrawal. The land withdrawal is 100% in place. Infrastructure is in place there. It's community sewer. We have a 10-inch AC or clay pipe sewer running through the property there. We have a 10-inch AC that runs through the property for potable water, and we have I believe it's a 400 kV line that runs through this adjacent to the highway there to the property. So infrastructure-wise, though, business and that's property. Those are properties that we need. Just the same how that site is developed is available for development, and I just don't know why the nation has been overlooking it. And I believe is even not but if you look at the feasibility of where this proposed project is, you know, it's doable. I don't that the other is that the feasibility of this proposed project is something that is I look at. You know, we can build. CHID has monies that gets allocated each year to build homes. They can pre-manufacture these structures there, these frames, whatever, and ship them out from the pre-packaged. We have NHA that gets about $69 million a year. And we can pre-manufacture these frames, studs, for HUD standards, so NHA can build homes instead of having third-party individuals build this. I don't. The other thing is that it means jobs, and whether it's you know, that carpenter is coming from Cameron, Tonani Lake, or maybe a guy that's coming from Chindley or Shajah, Elmer, the Tuba City, the Hadid, other quad, Satada, Hadina, carpenter, but that no, that, but all the a quag, a canal, Nishno, no, Sita. Ora, it benefits everybody. And not only that, you know, home improvement program, they build about 7 homes. And we have monies there that we can actually hire people. I'm not gonna say, you know, build all of Tuba City, but we need to look for other sites across Navajo and Tonani Lake. That site is very doable. The other site is the school in Alejo, yeah, Indian Well. There's a community, Newcomb or almost at Newcomb. But Aquaga, there's a school that was abandoned, and I believe I was looking at public safety in purchasing that building, and the school has offered it for sale, that building, because they don't need it no more. and I believe it's about $500,000, and that's a pretty good site to acquire also. Oh, a school that was built, and right now that school is abandoned. White Cone, yeah. That's another potential site or for tribal offices to be put out out into the rural. You have my attention on this, and it's doable. I'm looking at the project aspect of it, of the land status and that land withdrawal. All of that stuff is done. If a delegate wants it somewhere else, is that site ready to go to be done? You know, we have art clearances done there. So yeah, and I would just need to put money to it and build something. The Navajo Nation has the trade: carpenters, electricians, plumbers, welders. And just think if we can even go into mobile home manufacturing. Mobile homes, now. I thought those are the possibilities that can happen on sin. But again, when some is proposed in my community, but again, this project sounds like it's going to benefit the whole nation. I'm glad that Tuba City was recommended, and I really would like to thank the Tuba City RBDO, Coal Mine Chapter, and Tuba City Chapter working together to make sure that that lease is approved and everything's ready to go. I think there's a total of 9 acres there, Shanand. Everything is done. I remember that site. It's about 9-acre site. If we can look at other opportunities to expand, and we just need to put money to the site and start building those facilities. Again, I'll go ahead and I'll let you go, Shanand, Mr. President, and Mr. Chaco. Go ahead and answer those questions.
Thank you, Shanand. Mr. the Chair, Mr. and also the honorable members of the Commission. I think most of the questions that were posed were pretty well answered by Jim Zwerlein with regards to how all the facilities that are on the nation, especially like Church Rock and Ship Rock and also the Tuba City site, and how that determination was made by Mr. Zwerlein covered. I think the only thing that I can think of that that was not answered was Honorable Key Allen McGay's question on if some of these sites, some of these home sites have all of the necessary documentation, such as home site lease, all the right-of-ways for power, water, and all that. And Jim indicated those are all going to be included in the whole total package, so you don't see a home out there with no infrastructure. In addition, I believe Chid and also Dr. Yellowman, when the proposal was first made to use CARES Act money for homes, the Chid office and also Dr. Yellowman went through all of those applications that were submitted to them, and that gave us an idea of how many of these homes had all the necessary documentation, like home site lease and all the requirements for water and power to the home. Those are the data that we have and that we were going to use if the housing funds were made available under the CARES Act. In addition, Jim also has, on the veterans side, also has a criteria that's already in place for the homes that are going to be built using the Veterans Fund. So that's already been developed, and those applications are in place and they're ready to go. So that's just some of the questions that were posed by the commission. So so hopefully we can get this particular project moving. So I'm Mr. Stowe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chaco, for summarizing that up. And I don't audition on Mr. Jonathan Mays. Shina do is Silishi, Hajoshi. I don't Shinale Dr. Yellman Pearl. Kodoshin, so Nabgiasin Kido Nahadane, Mr. Zurline. So you provided insights in what possibilities can happen related to if some sort of facility of this nature is built and the outcome. And there's many more. And you know, this is a chance to actually address housing. This is just from my view. I'm only one person on this part of this commission, and but it really you have my attention, presenters, and Austin Chaco, so na ash yeah kodo ashin so kabahui de ta. And this is pretty much a proposal and requesting that a $3 million, basically a $3 million buy-in to this project and ashon hicha proposal ito baniyat yani iyadast. I guess to start packaging the paperwork together and that's something that is to your discretion. The Navajo-Hopi Land Commission rehabilitation or the Navajo Rehab Trust Fund. We do have some dollars in place. So there's a possibility that we can have that conversation. And again, you know, we really need the fine line details in it. And you just heard my fellow commissioners, such as Key Allen Begay and Carla Elmer Begay and Thomas Walker and Mr. Jimmy Yellowhair. We have Vince James. We have Honorable Paul Begay. You have myself and Honorable Herman Daniels. Oh, by the way, Herman Daniels was on the line for a while. Sherelle, just mark him present. And but these affected land area, affected land, whether it's NPL or HP, NPL and FFBA and new lands, those three, they have different land size that are affected. So you look at affected areas such as the Honorable P. Allen Begay represents a couple of chapters, but what is the size ratio to land size ratio to Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair? You know, what's the land difference? I think if we can start looking at something of that nature, and you know that the more land affected areas, you will have more people living in those communities. Just like the chapter of coal mine, and you compare it to let's say Gap. Definitely Gap is bigger than coal, or no, vice versa. The affected area, coal mine would be bigger than the affected area in the community of Gap chapter. So or to Tanani Lake or to Loop be out the affected area of the former Bennett Freeze. But you know, just things like that. Looking at the Land Commission, I think we would have to have that conversation into Honorable James area, Navajo Island, and then the other thing also is our Navajo citizens that are living on Hopi partition land. You know, there's a clause inside the accommodation agreement that the Navajo Nation can help with service to those families, as long as the right protocols are made with the Hopi government. Maybe at least that needs to be put in place for a family member there. You know, things like that. So it requires a lot of communication. And we're racing with time, Shannon. And I just would like to just have the presenters to go ahead and start packaging your request together, and let's present it. You guys can present it to the commission. You presented the proposal to the commission. You know, Honorable Robert Black. So, and we're racing with time. I'm going to go ahead and call the question for this proposal, this report A. And Sherelle, can you go ahead and call for the question?
Okay, Honorable Elmer Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Ellen Begay, how do you vote?
Delegate Kell votes green. Thank you.
Honorable Key Ellen Begay votes green. Honorable Paul Begay, how do you vote?
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Herman M. Daniels, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels votes green. Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate James votes green. Thank you.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr., how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Chair, you have 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 not voting, which is the chair not voting.
Okay, thank you very much for presenters. Honorable Mr. President, for your presentation. Mr. Chaco, Chief of Staff, thank you for your presentation. Dr. Pearl Yellowmesh, Mr. Zurline. So thank you very much for your input and your working on this project. And these are initiatives that are very, very important, and in my view, it's feasible. There's a chance that this can work, and we have programs that have already dollars that they get each year that can jumpstart this project to move forth. And this is one of my thoughts. With that, committee members, we had Nabi that started in 8 minutes. And I was going to recommend that we go ahead and kick the report A and B to the next. I'm going to go ahead and call for a special meeting. I'm going to look at Monday at 3 o'clock. And if that is a consensus to hear the 2 reports left, let's I can go ahead and call a meeting for Monday, a special meeting. We have a couple of meetings that we didn't utilize in November, so we'll have it in lieu of meeting for that purpose. If that is a consensus from the commissioners, and if that is okay, is that okay with you guys?
I'll motion the Yellowhair. Biga.
Okay, Honorable Yellowhair motions. I'm going to request for a second for kick the 2 reports to the next special meeting.
Second, Delegate Paul Begay.
Paul Begay. Thank you very much. We have a motion second in place, and I'm just going to take a straw vote. I'm not going to take this as an official action. And if I hear, I just need to hear a yay or nay. So all in favor? Yay or
Yay.
nay?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, the yays have it.
Yay.
And then nays? No nays. So the yeas have it. Report A and B, or B and C will go to the special meeting. I'll go ahead and issue a letter, and or I will have Martha issue a letter out, and I will go ahead and sign that letter by the end of today, and she can leave it at my box there, and I'll go ahead and get it through the process there. So we'll have a special meeting Monday at 3 o'clock. To hear the last two reports. Okay, with that, I'm going to go on to the next item on the agenda is the adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Yellow hair
adjourn
second.
by Honorable Paul Begay and second by
Yep.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. With that, Sherelle, call for roll call.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
Vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Allen Begay.
Delegate Key Allen votes green. Thank you.
Honorable Key Allen Begay votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Herman M. Daniels.
I vote green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels votes green. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr.
I vote green.
Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
I vote green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Chair, you have 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 not voting, which is the chair not voting.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 9:57 a.m. Thank you very much, commissioners, for your time, and I